I'm Frederick March. I'm here to show you what the best practices are to change your life and to become more successful in everything you do. This is episode 7, Writing Down My Goals. Hi everybody. How you doing? So, what I'd like to talk about this week would be I'll get into some of my own stuff, okay? I've mentioned it before, but I've had dyslexia. Have dyslexia. It's kind of complicated. I got healed of some mental issues when I got born again, and so I no longer have the issue with reading that I used to have. But because my whole life I haven't read. I haven't really done much reading, and my handwriting is really, really kind of bad. And my spelling is mostly phonetic. And so when you spell things phonetically, if you spell things incorrectly because you're pronouncing them incorrectly, I say all this to say that I've been hearing quite a few times for quite a long time that it's really important for you to write down your goals, and even to write a journal about how you feel about your day and what happened, and what you want to have happen the next day and all this kind of stuff. Never was something that I did because I don't enjoy the process of writing. And even when I do write things down, a lot of times it's written down incorrectly, like spelling is all bad. And so when I go to read it back, I don't even know sometimes what I wrote. That's just my one area that I've struggled in. Doesn't mean that it limits me from doing those things. I can still do them. I believe there's still a neurological reaction that you get from actually physically writing things down, other than typing them in your phone or typing them on a computer. So I've been doing it more, just because I think it's important. I think it's a part of change that we need to step into. I was not willing to do this for quite a long time because it's just not something that I felt comfortable with. So I thought, well, if I don't feel comfortable with it, well, what's the point of doing it? Because it's something that I'm supposed to respond to in a positive way. No. Okay, so sometimes we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And sometimes being uncomfortable meaning doing things that we find uncomfortable to do, even though we should do them. Say, for example, writing things down in a book. So I started doing that kind of stuff, and it's important. So I've talked a lot about envisioning and your mindsets and your thought processes and why you're doing what you're doing, and all this kind of stuff. And I've been doing them not just since I've been doing the podcast, but even prior to that, I started this process. And the main reason why I'm doing the podcast is because I was doing this envisioning thing. I was seeing myself as a public speaker. I was seeing myself as a successful person. I was seeing myself in a different light altogether. You might not have noticed, or maybe you have noticed, I try to dress fairly well in my videos. That's part of my self-esteem growing process. Because I would just wear t-shirts and jogging pants or whatever on a regular basis during the day, and it didn't bother me. That's just what I would do, so it was okay. But the reality is, I wasn't putting forth that professional feel that I had. So I bought a couple suits and nice shirts and some ties, and I already knew how to tie a tie because I used to be in sales a long time ago, and every day I had to wear a suit to go to work. but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was something that I did because I had to, because that was the image you had to put across at the place I worked. But now I want to. But not just that I want to look better, although I do. It gives me a sense of pride in myself, and not in a negative way, but in a positive way, because pride is not all bad. Sometimes it's very positive, and to feel proud about the work you're doing in the spot, like I am losing weight, I am getting in shape, I am doing that kind of stuff, and that's coming from the fact that I have been envisioning myself, seeing myself leaner and fitter and dressed in a nice suit and public speaking and driving a nice car. And I don't care about Lamborghinis or anything like that. Like if I was to have a luxury car, it would probably be like a Bentley. That's a very expensive car, but it's not like multi-million-dollar cars. Like multi-million-dollar cars, like some people want a Bugatti. It's all right. I'm like comfort style. Anyways, never mind about that. So I have started to, because of the envisioning process, I have started to see myself in my mind differently. And so because I'm seeing myself fit, healthy, strong, in a nice suit, presenting my thoughts to a crowd, I've started to develop that process more and more and more. I've even gotten to the point where, and I think I've mentioned it before, I see myself waking up in the morning, getting ready, my morning routine, and what that looks like. And so I'm really developing, but now I'm starting, okay, if I want to be a public speaker, so now I'm envisioning myself in the stage, and I'm starting the process of actually speaking and practicing the speech. And now from that, taking what I have been envisioned, and so I'm letting Holy Spirit and God flow through me in my visions, and what would I say, and how would I say it, and what would I do, and then taking mental notes of that, and then kind of writing it down afterwards and keeping track of that. And then so I'm using that process to write a speech. I say all this to say that, because I just said that to say that I said all this to say that I said all this to say that. Meta. Yeah. So I started writing I wouldn't say a journal. It is I want to accomplish bleep by bleep. I want to blah blah bleep bleep. Okay, so I would just say the first one, because it has to do with what you can see. Other stuff is more mental and walking free from certain things. Other things are financial, running my business and bringing the podcast out and launching my book. But the first one is like, I want to be 225 pounds by a certain date. So in the past, I have done these kind of things. I've written down, oh, I am going to lose weight and be healthier. It's way too vague. I realize now that I never gave myself a timeline. I never gave myself an actual objective. So no, in my list that I wrote now, it's like I gave myself an actual adjustment. I have an actual number that I want to get to. And I actually put a date that I want to get there in. But I've gone further than that. I've decided that, okay, what I need to do also is to say, what will I do to accomplish this goal? And I gave myself 3 things that I will do in order to accomplish this goal. Now, when it comes to the weight loss, I will work out 3 days a week at the gym. Now I gotta get a gym membership, and I'm looking into the gyms in my area. I have specific things that I need, and so I'm finding one. So once I get one, but my plan is to work out at least 3 days a week, at least. And I'm starting that today. So even if I don't join the gym today, I'm doing a workout today. I'm not waiting till tomorrow to do the workout. I'm not waiting. I'm doing it today. After this is over, I'm going to go have breakfast. After breakfast, I'm going to do a workout. I'm a morning guy. So my plan is to do my workouts in the morning. One day a week, it will be on my day off. The other 2 days will be before work in the morning. Not sure how that's going to work out, but hey, I gotta work it in there, and this is my schedule. This is my life. I have a job. I have to do my job, so I'm going to work it in there. So I have that workout, and it's clear 3 days a week. Now, if I can't do it one day, I'll do another day, but I'm not going to miss 3 days a week. The other one is I will not eat junk food until December 25th. I gave myself till Christmas to have some junk food. Now my birthday is in September. I have had fast that I've done before, prompted by the Holy Spirit, prompted by God, saying, okay, don't eat any sugar or any dairy until I say it's okay in your spirit. So I would check, and so I would, when I would be in a situation where I would be offered something sweet or some dairy, I would close my eyes and I would check, and I'd say, is it okay for me to have this? And I would either feel this uncomfortableness in my spirit, that was a no. If I felt peace in my spirit, that was a yes. Well, I went for a few months doing this, and then it was my birthday. I had cake, ice cream, and I checked, and it was a no. And I'm like, but it's my birthday. And I had it anyways. Well, I destroyed everything. That's it. I gave up. It's like, okay, I wasn't supposed to, and I did it. And so I just gave up the whole thing. Stopped asking, ate whatever I wanted to. And I did lose some weight at the time. Gained it all back. I wasn't healed in other areas at that point. I was in the process, but I wasn't. So I have purposely planned this, that I will not have any sweets, junk food like that, until Christmas. So even on my birthday, I'm not having it. So that is something specifically I put in for me, because I know that that was my weak place before, and now it's going to be my place of strength. I've chosen. So, and I also put down that I would like to have to eat healthy, and also get some micronutrients and some supplements to help in my gut health and my energy and that kind of thing, in order to keep me on track from the food that I need to eat and what not to eat. So I'm gonna get supplements and start that process. It's gonna be important for me, I know, because in the past I would wean, and I believe that I would wean because there was things that I craved still, and the reason I craved them is because I hadn't taken control of my gut health. There was probably some candida that was raging against not having any sugar, and I didn't even realize at the time that your gut biome can really influence your eating habits in a big way. So I need to control that environment the best I can. And the best way I know how at this point is my research that I found that with the gut biome, you need to increase the growth of the positive that do not crave sugar, that do not crave carbs, and decrease that aspect of it. So I need to do those things. So I'm gonna get there's some seaweed stuff and some vitamin stuff that helps also with oxygenating your brain and helping with all this kind of stuff in your gut biome. So I'm gonna start that process. So that's part of what I need to do. So I put 3 things down. I put down 3 goals. I did this morning. Put down 3 goals. I'll talk about the weight loss one. The other 2 are personal. So I'm being pretty personal here, but there's some things I just want to. So I believe that it's important not only to say, this is what I want to do, this is when I want to do it by, but also this is what I'm going to do to make it happen. That can be, this is what I'm going to do to make it happen. This is what I'm going to stop doing in order for that to happen. It could be stop procrastinating. It could be stop not doing videos and then edit them, getting them ready. This is part of what I have on my goals. This is part of my future business, launching my book, doing this kind of thing. Part of this podcast is going to be interviewing people, reaching out to people to find people who are professionals in the area of mindsets, health, digestion, all those kind of things, and interviewing them, talking about what is the best practices to control this, to keep yourself on a path to becoming healthy and have a long, healthy life. So I'm not going to say I say all that to say. I said all that to say before. So now I'm just going to say it. But I guess I just did it by saying that. Anyways. Goals are important. And perhaps, I don't want my wife to hear this because this is her big thing, perhaps writing them down is also a pretty good idea. It probably does do something neurologically and cement some things. But now that I wrote them down, I can read them every day. And if I read them every day, it's going to keep them in front of mine. And people used to say all the time, oh, you need to have a big why. What is your why? And I never really could develop this process of finding my why and then making that why so big that it manifests itself to force me down the road to get things done. I do have big whys, but I've never found that for me that they were enough to push me forward. They were just, why? I want to do it. For me, I just needed to find myself the method, which is taking small steps on a regular basis and not allowing myself to quit. That came with paying attention to what was going on in here, listening to the negative comments, but also the envisioning process of seeing me in a place where I want to be and putting that emotions in that envisioning process of the feeling of pride of standing there on the stage and doing what I feel like God has called me to do, even if it terrifies you. That pride and that feeling of health and strength, knowing that there's nothing that can stop me from doing what I want to do in life. Physically, I have the ability to do it because I'm strong now, I'm healthy now. If I need to run to do something, I can run. If I need to lift something, I can lift. I could do those things, I am prepared to do those things. and to live a life where maybe it's pretty hectic for a while and traveling around and, you know, but physically I'm able to handle that position. And I believe that an envisioning process and putting that emotions in there, and putting that feelings in there, and putting that emphasis in there has changed me, because I wouldn't want to write a list before. I wouldn't want to join a gym before. Now I'm excited about the idea of joining a gym. Yeah. So know what's going on up here. Change the way you see yourself. Make plans and steps that are achievable and not overwhelming, and then walk forward. Every little step. Just like compound interest. Who was it? Ed Milet would talk about the pinata story, and he was saying how some kid comes up to a pinata and he hits it with a stick, hits it with a stick, hits it with a stick, and it doesn't break. He gives up, gives it to the next kid. Boom, boom, boom. Same thing, same thing, same thing. And then at the end, the smallest kid, who had the last person to get a chance to hits it one time, and the thing breaks open, the candy's everywhere, and he's the hero. Was that kid the one that broke the pinata open? Or was the compound hits from all the kids prior to that kid? And then it opened. That's how life is with us. Our compound negative thoughts bring us to a point of not succeeding in life, not doing what we need to do. But our compound positive thoughts can bring us to a place of success. It's this exact same thing. You want to get in shape, one workout at a time. He has a book out. I haven't got it yet, but I'm going to. It's called One More. I think One More. Where he talks about just do one more rep. Just do one more step. Just do one more day. If you have a job, you hate your job and you want to quit, you say, yeah, fine, quit tomorrow. And then the next day, quit tomorrow. And then the next day, quit tomorrow. Because you might need that job to get to where you need to go. If you change your mindsets about things, you change your attitude about things, maybe being in that job will get you to where you need to go. At least if you hate the job, you have something to work on. Why do you hate it so much? Why are you having such a difficult time with that job? If it's people, well, then why are they bothering you so much? Maybe you need to look inside and figure out why. Maybe you need to be that strength in the room for them they don't have. Maybe you can become a public speaker within your business and just encourage that person sitting across from you. Encourage that guy in the truck beside you. Encourage those people all around you. Be a positive influence. Be a positive thing in you're at home. Be a positive influence to your neighbor. My mom came to visit yesterday. I love my mom. Beautiful person. She happened to have a conversation with our neighbor. And he was saying that we were the best neighbors he's ever had. We were so friendly and outgoing, so helpful. Well, that's what we feel we need to do. I want to help my neighbor. If my neighbor's going through something difficult, I want to step up and help him. If he can't physically do something, let me cut his grass. What's the big deal? If he's got a lot of garbage there and I know it's garbage in it, I'm putting mine out, but put his out too. What's the big deal? No, it's very little effort. But you're loving people. You're reaching out to help people. You're doing things you need to do. It doesn't matter if it's your neighbor, if it's some older person that you know that is having a difficult time and you go and spend time with them, whatever. Be the person that you think that needs to be on this planet. Because, hey, we can all sit back and go, oh, nobody's doing this and nobody's doing that. And how come nobody happened? This place is a terrible place to live because everybody's out for themselves. Maybe that's true. But how about you start by being the one that's not out for yourself? I know it's crazy talk. But how about it? Why not? Okay. That's good for today. So my suggestion to do would be to write down a list of your goals that you want to accomplish, and then feasibly figure out what the timeline would be for those things. Don't make it 2 years, 4 years. If it's too big a goal, then break the goal down smaller and make it a 3 month, 4 month. Don't go any longer than 6 months for a goal because it's too big. It's too overwhelming. So make it smaller and have some micro goals and get to this point and get to this point. One of my goals could be just to record a podcast today. And I'm achieving that goal. Don't write something like, oh, write a book. Come up with the chapter titles for that book in the next 3 weeks. You know, if you do it quicker, fantastic. Then build another goal. Write chapter 1. Write chapter 2. So forth and so on. Give yourself attainable, small, micro goals to get to where you need to go. I am not telling you something that I read. I'm telling you something that I'm doing. I might have read it. I might have heard it in a podcast. I might have got it at a conference that I went to. A lot of things are all in there. But I'm doing these things that I'm telling you. I would not suggest for you to do something that I am not doing myself. Do what you can. Okay, I love you. I love you very much. I would love to reach out, give you a big hug. Okay. Be blessed. Ciao.